Well, greetings everyone. This is your soul brother Lance speaking. Direct from again where the action is. From where the small W war is being fought. I must say that I get a great charge out of listening to your tapes. Some people are self-conscious and trying to figure out what in the world to say, but if for nothing else, this would be a good practice in public speaking. But you don't have to worry about correct diction or any ways you might say something, because it's not really that important. The first tape was great. I really got a charge out of that. And on the second tape, the one that Dad sent, it didn't sound like him at all. I'm wondering if possibly you're taping with the batteries or taping with the current, the household current. The current over there is 60 cycles per second, and the current over here is 50 cycles per second. And consequently, it might be a little bit of difference in the way people sound in what I'm listening to over here. I can play it either off the battery or off the current here. So whatever way you're doing it now, try it the other way and maybe it'll sound a little bit better. I do hope that you figured out the technique of switching to the other side. All you have to do is take the right-hand reel when it finishes and flip it over and put the right-hand reel in the left-hand spindle, and then you can tape on the second side. The same goes for listening. One thing about being in the Air Force that I've found just recently is one of the things that I've found that has been extremely meaningful to me is something that happened today. I received a letter that was in a mimeograph form. This friend of mine down in pilot training had written a letter in mimeograph form and had sent it to all the people that were in our class down at pilot training, kind of like what the Rogers did, only this was on a little bit sadder note. About 2 weeks ago, a friend of mine, a good friend of mine, was badly burned in an aircraft accident down at Cameron Bay, and he narrowly escaped with his life, but he did make it out, but he had burns on about 40% of his body. And this letter was, this mimeograph letter was telling me about it and telling all my friends about it, and we're saying that what he needed more than anything else right now were letters and notes from friends to kind of keep him going. He was in a pretty bad state, I guess, and was really in need of some kind of comfort, as he was in pretty much pain. So this is kind of a grim example of how people in the Air Force really stick together. I found this to be a very rewarding part of my Air Force life thus far. Another friend of mine was killed up north about a week ago, and he had probably one of the greatest marriages going I've ever seen. This fellow's name was Tom Kilcullen, and he was a good friend of mine at George. Really a great guy. It seems like such a waste to have something like that happen to someone that really is such a tremendous guy. Fellow. The other fellow's name was Ron Flake, and I had gone to school with him for 4 years at the academy, and the fellow that was burned, I went to school with him for 4 years at the academy, plus we went through pilot training together, and he may lose several fingers on his hands. They're not sure yet. He doesn't even know about it yet, but his wife knows about it, and she's a great little girl, so I think she'll probably take care of him pretty well. Well, I'm glad to see that he did get my second package. I haven't received your second package yet. I've gotten 2 packages so far. One with the cookies a long time ago, and then I think it was the third package that you sent, the one with the cake and brownies in it. And of course I enjoyed them immensely. but I haven't received the package yet of the one of the canned ham and salami, I guess, that was in it. I would imagine by the time I get it, it'll probably be fairly unedible. Mark, I would imagine that you got the camera by now, or you should have. One thing that I want to comment on is, as are some of the pictures that I've sent along with this tape, you have to set the exposure a little bit more open. In other words, a lower number than you would for a normal camera, because the exposure comes out quite a bit darker. There isn't as much light entering this little camera. It is quite nice, but it's going to take a little bit of practice before you'll get good at it. You can see the pictures that I took here weren't very good, and mainly because I didn't use enough light. I'm glad that you enjoyed my little book that I sent you. I got a very large charge out of that. There's another one that precedes that book, but someone else sent that one off. I think Dad's probably old enough you can show it to him. Yes, I did get the family picture, and it was truly a great picture. I saw the proofs, of course, while I was home, and I liked just about every one of them. I'm anxious to get home and see that big one. I'd like to see how that looks and how it turned out. Dad, I received the $25 for the tape recorder you sent me. Thanks. You didn't have to send it to me, but thank you anyway. That thing about Colonel Olds going to the Air Force Academy is quite amazing. It's going to do one of two things. It's something that the Academy really needs. They need a fellow like him, because he's all fire and brimstone, and he'll really tear that place up. He'll either tear it up or he'll go crazy trying to change it. Somebody's going to rule somebody over there. I don't know who it's going to be, but if he gets his own way, I think the Academy's really going to have themselves a great commandant. He's just about some kind of a cherished idol over here, and he's instilled a great deal of spirit in the wing that he had over at U-Bahn. I think he's still over there, but of course he'll be leaving pretty soon. He was looking like crazy for his 5th MiG, trying to get that one. And they really do have a lot of spirit over there. He's really fired that bunch up, and as you can see by reading the papers, he's in on just about everything. He seems to always be where things are going on. He knows about everything, and I guess he has quite a few unconfirmed MiG kills. He's quite a stickler on that, and I guess if he would have claimed more than he has, he would have more than 4 MiGs right now. But he's right on top of everything. Hope the Hillcrest is doing all right. I imagine things are picking up now. You don't have any more riots going on anyway. People won't be afraid to come out of their house. Janine, I was listening to your part of the tape again tonight. By the way, it's the 29th of August, and it's about 10:30. I'm not flying today, but I was listening to your tape, and listen, I'll catch you on the other side. Well, here it is, the other side time. Janine, as I was saying, I was listening to the first tape where you commented about going up to Wauwigan and riding on a horse up there, and then you said something about Champ, and then you mentioned something about a boyfriend, and I couldn't figure out if the boyfriend's name was Champ or the horse's name was Champ. Your music lessons sound like a real good idea. Voice lessons, anyway. That sounds like it'd be pretty fine. Of course, I'm sure Mom will get you interested in that operetta stuff at Bayview, and it's all well and good. Of course, it's an awful lot of work. You have to put quite a bit of time into something like that, and it's not just something that you can do overnight and forget about, because once you get tagged for something like that, they seem to think they can use you for everything when it comes to singing or music or anything like that. About the car, I'm wondering if anybody said anything about it yet, or if you've gotten any offers. As I mentioned before in a letter, I think it'd be a good idea if when you advertise in the paper to put down the fact that it was red with white interior, because that seems to attract more people than 4 brand new tires would, or something like that. And if most of the prices in the paper are $2,800, maybe you could advertise it for $2,750 or something. Maybe it'll sound a little bit better to them. And don't stick with just one newspaper. I would suggest, I don't know, putting up notices, and maybe down at Allen Bradley, of course, it'll be too late for that by the time you get it, but putting up notices in different places, maybe at school. There are many people in different areas that are interested in stuff like that. Maybe you can find some areas where a lot of people hang out to put up notices. Dad, you mentioned that President Johnson and I had made the same comment about drubbing the VC around here. Well, I wasn't listening to any propaganda or anything when I said that, but it really is quite amazing to me at how they can really take as much punishment as they do, because we really have been handing it out, and things are getting a lot more active over here right now as far as the VC are concerned, because of the fact that the elections are coming up this next coming month. And they're, of course, trying to get as much publicity as possible to make their side look favorable. We get briefings constantly from intelligence, and according to their reports, things like assassinations and tortures and things like that have really picked up quite a bit in the last few weeks in preparation for the elections. But up north, we're doing an awful lot of damage up there, and I just I can't imagine how they can keep on going and keep on getting supplies through. We have found out that supplies are decreasing quite a bit down here. They're having a harder time conscripting people. They're having a harder time supplying their troops. They're having a harder time feeding them, as well as getting ammunition and war materials to them. I haven't been flying a great deal lately because, well, for one reason, I think that the fall monsoons are coming in a little bit early. Normally they're supposed to start in November, but we've already been getting quite a bit of rain, and this slows down our flying a great deal because we can't see our targets and we can't find them. We can still bomb in some areas where we can't see our targets, but not quite as well or as efficiently. But we also had some new people come in here lately in the last 2 weeks, and so our number of sorties per individual is cut down because of that, but we're not short on people anymore. We're not flying nearly as much. This has only been about the last week. I went down to Clark a couple days ago, and I only spent 2 days down there. Lenora wasn't there, and I was quite unhappy about that. She tried just about everything to try and get over there at the same time I was there, but she was illegal to fly anymore because she had flown so much during the month of August, and so she couldn't quite make it over here this time. I went a little bit crazy when I was down at Clark, and I did kind of a silly thing. I went and I called her from Clark on the telephone, and I would imagine you'll be getting a horrendous telephone bill here pretty quick. And just send it on to me and let me know what it is, and let me know what the outcome is, and I'll write a check for it and pay you for it. Rich Hausfeld and the boys sent me a tape I just received yesterday, and it was quite funny. Those guys were just as self-conscious as you were. It's funny listening to people talk, like I said before. But they sent me a tape, and Doug Germanson was on it. I guess he just got back from, he's out in Massachusetts. He got another 4 or 5 months to go before he gets out of the service. And Jim Lotz was talking on the telephone. He just happened to call up at the time that they were taping. Jerry and Rich and Doug were talking there, and Jim called up, and so I listened to Jim talk over the phone. and so I was quite enjoying listening to them. Now I'm going to show you some tape monitored still life pictures, and I've got them numbered on the back, so put them in order and then I'll explain each picture to you. Got them in order? Okay, here we go. First picture, it was taken over North Vietnam, and you can see we're loaded down for bear here, and we're off the coastline and getting ready to turn in. That's lead with the aircraft in front there, and you can see that he has rocket pods on the side nearest to you and bombs on the inside. Picture number 2 was taken on our way over the Philippines, and you can see that we don't have any weapons on there at that time. Those tanks that they have there are nothing more than gas tanks. Picture number 3 was also taken on our way over to the Philippines, and you can see that we're in a nice tight formation there. Picture number 4 is a picture of an F-4C, and we're not basically flying along. I just took that picture because I thought it was nice. Picture number 5 is as we're in a bomb run up north, and we're in about a 45-degree dive, and you can see, if you look closely, all those little light splotches there, those are all bomb craters. So we're doing quite a bit of work up there, as you can well see. Picture number 6 was a picture taken as the bombs were being released over North Vietnam, and took it just as we were getting ready to drop. Picture number 7 is a very exciting picture of our squadron building. You can see the Screaming Eagle up there, and that's our squadron patch. The last picture is just nothing more than a picture of a F-4 and a revetment. You can see that it didn't come out too well in this picture, so I'm trying to hurry because I'm running out of tape, and I want to tell you that by looking at those pictures, don't think that I'm not very busy when I'm up there, because I was able to snap a few pictures just in time. But I am a little busier than it would appear to be, or would seem to be, because I don't just take pictures while I'm up there, needless to say. I'll sign off for now. Tape's almost over. So long for now. We'll wait for you next.